Welcome to the Parent Cafe Classroom, where parents get strategies for helping their children learn to read and read to learn, essentially learning how to tutor their children. If your child is currently in an elementary or middle school and is struggling with reading, this classroom is just for you. If your child merely needs support and you are using our Parents as Tutors series, this is just for you. If you are interested in preparing your child for kindergarten readiness, this class is definitely for you. Parents who use our Parent Cafe Classroom along with our Parents as Tutors series are finding that their children are experiencing improved fluency and a higher level of comprehension. English language learners are also finding our classroom to be beneficial. Come join us in the Parent Cafe Classroom and learn how to be your child's tutor.
Parents, let's talk about that word wall. Remember, I told you that we could set up the word wall in two different ways. If you choose to set up your word wall by using an entire wall, this is how it would look. However, if you choose to set up the word wall using a half of a wall or 1/3 of a wall, this is the way you would set it up with the letters going across. Now, I have a lot of words on the word wall. That's because I had a student whose name is David. David has been learning his sight words. That means I would be able to hold up this card. David would see the word if and be able to tell me if. David would not be decoding it. David would know it by sight, just by looking at it automatically. If I hold up this card, David would be able to tell me he. Then I would ask David to place this word on the word wall. Where do you think David would place this word? He would pay attention to the beginning letter, H. Then he would look for H on the word wall and actually place it here. If. Where do you think David would place the word if that he was able to recognize just by sight? He would place it under the letter I. So David would place it right here. Now there are some things I want you to learn about the word wall. The word wall consists of words that children know just by looking at them. Not by trying to sound the beginning letters, decoding them, nothing like that. The word wall begins with words that they know by sight. So, the first word that David learned was his name. Then David learned that his name begins with a D. But then David was able to identify the difference between an uppercase D and a lowercase d. So David knew that his name needed to start with an uppercase D and end with a lowercase d. So David wrote his name and placed it under the D on the word wall. There's also something I need you to know, is that children need association between pictures and words. For example, D, duck. So the word duck begins with a D. That's why we have that picture here. The word David begins with a D, so it's placed here. The word cow begins with a C, so the picture is there. So put pictures on your word wall to help your children associate letters, beginning letters, and words with pictures. Now, how did we arrive at these words that we place on the word wall? These are high-frequency words. These are words that show up everywhere quite frequently. This is why it is important for your children to actually be able to recognize these words. That's half of the battle won. So when your children begin to read, if they already know these sight words, they are already able to read half of the passage because they recognize the words by sight, because you've walked them through those words right here on the word wall. And then the other words, they would use their decoding and segmenting strategies, which we're going to come to, in order to figure out those unknown words. So parents, once your children learn the words, they place it on the word wall, have them create sentences using the words on the word wall. Now here it is. I have the level 1 high frequency words and the level 2 high frequency words. So it simply means that you should have them learn all the level 1 words and then move into the level 2 words. And once you give them a passage to read and they're able to identify these words, you're going to see how fluently they begin reading. So parents, now that you understand the value of a word wall, the value of having a print-rich environment at home, the value of your children recognizing words just by sight, just by looking at them. Now you understand that when you purchase books that actually have these words in them, your child will be able to recognize these words with automatically, just by looking at them. It means that your child won't have to decode them, won't have to segment, break them up, and struggle with that in order to figure out what the word means, because your child knows the word just by sight. However, there are words that your children will encounter that will require decoding skills, which means that your child is going to have to understand the beginning sound, the sound of the vowel in the word parts. We're going to teach you all of that. But for now, the first thing I need you to do is to create word walls at home and to begin flashing those cards with those sight words, and then having your children pay attention to the beginning letter and placing that word on the correct spot on the word wall. Then I want them to make sentences with those words. Finally, I want them to circle those words in the books that they're actually reading to show you that they know those words. Okay, where would we find these words? I have them here on charts. I call these high frequency level 1 words, high frequency level 2 words. We go all the way up to level 5. These are words that are found frequently in everything they read, and they should know them just by looking at them, just by sight. So for parents who are using our series, you will find levels 1 through 5 sight words in the blending and segmenting text. And remember, if you're an English language learner, we actually have these books in Spanish for you. The instructions are in Spanish. So if you are a parent trying to help your English language learner, we've taken care of you. Visit the website and look at those books. But for now, I want to let you know that the sight words that your children should know are all in that text, and we have them up here. So parents, I expect to hear from you. Go ahead and email us. Send us pictures of the word wall that you created at home. Talk to us about how well your children are reading just by knowing sight words.
Hello parents, and welcome back to Parent Cafe. Today we will be focusing on using high frequency words to put into sentences. These are activities that you can use with your child to help them develop the skills to create sentences. So today we will be coming from the Blending and Segmenting Parent Guide on page 22, where we have our level 1 high frequency word chart. We will use these words again, as I said, to create sentences, and we'll work on helping your child develop those skills. So I'm going to start with our pocket chart. So we have a pocket chart here, and as you see, I already have some words off of our level 1 high frequency word chart set up so we can create sentences. So another thing that I have is picture word cards. You would want to make sure you have picture word cards for your children, and I'll show you how we'll incorporate those picture word cards into our activity and building sentences with our high frequency words. So the first sentence that I'm going to present is, I like to play. So here are 4 words that we are using off of our level 1 high frequency word chart. I like to play. All 4 words come right off of this chart. And as you see, there are many words that you can use with your child to create sentences. So one thing we do know, children like to play, so they will connect with that sentence. I like to play. They can either take the words off of the high frequency words, making it interactive, and create their sentences, placing these words into the pocket chart, or you can have a separate stash of high frequency words where they can use and manipulate the words on their own to build sentences. So another thing that I want to introduce is, although this word is already created, this sentence is already created, I like to play. We can also take the word play out. And here's where you're going to incorporate these picture cards. So here we have it categorized. I have activities here. So when you want to introduce different activities to your child so they can learn how to create sentences with activities. I have a category of animals, and this is something that you can also focus on. The animals. Have a group of animals, and you can also have animal toys around when you're introducing animals, and the picture word cards to go with them so they can manipulate the object of the animal and the picture card. This object, the little pig here, we have the pig. Let me put this word back. We have the pig, and we have the picture card pig. This toy that they would be happy to play with, it's going to help them use language in identifying this pig and using this card to read the word also. So not only are they going to start creating sentences, but they're using language. So here we would create another sentence. But let's go back to our first sentence. I like to play. We took the word play out. We can put it down here at the bottom of the chart because we're not using it, and create another sentence. I like to dance. Take the picture card, dance. Introduce the word dance in it. This gives them the opportunity to learn other words too. And with these picture word cards, you can begin to introduce decoding, which Dr. Thompson will discuss later in the segment. So here's our new sentence. I like to dance. So although we know your child has not been introduced to the word dance, they can see the picture and they will say dance. And now they can make that connection between the picture and the word dance. And that will help them create sentences even with other words. So we can go to the category animals also. Now here we have another set of words that is off of our level 1 high frequency word chart. I see the, You can go over animal words with your children. And here I have the word cat. There's a picture of a cat and the word cat below. Again, this helps them to identify what the word may say, although they may not be reading right away. They see the picture. They're reading the picture. So here, they will put that word there to complete that sentence. I see the cat. And then you can keep going on as they master the level 2 high frequency word chart. You will start using those words and incorporating them in sentences also. And you can take it a step further too. You can make a puzzle out of the words. So you can scramble the sentence up and have your child try to unscramble the sentence to create the sentence in a way it should be read. So have your child point to the word I. What is the first word that you hear? I. And they would take the word out and start building the sentence, unscrambling from the top. C. So now they're listening to themselves speak the sentence, and they're also identifying the words that go in order. I see the cat. And that helps build their skills with creating sentences also. So we're going to go on and move on to other activities, as I said, where Dr. Thompson will come in and discuss decoding.
Welcome to another segment of the Parent Cafe Classroom. We're actually playing a letter matching game. A letter matching game. This is something you could do on your refrigerator if you do not have one of these boards. You would have those magnetic letters. What you would do, parent, you could put all the uppercase letters there, then have your child search through here for the matching lowercase letter. So you would ask your child, point to the uppercase B. Now locate the lowercase b and match it with the uppercase B. So your child would unscramble, locate it here, and slide it right here. And then just to make sure that your child really understands, you would ask your child to point to the lowercase b. Point to the uppercase B. So that's a letter matching game. Sometimes you could put all lowercase letters and then actually ask your child to match all the uppercase letters. Okay, so that would aid letter identification so that once they get to kindergarten, they're way ahead. They can identify the letters, uppercase, consonants, and match them up. So the teachers are going to point to them and they have to call the names of the letters. Let's move into another phase. Can your child tell you the difference between consonants and vowels? Do they even know that we have vowels in the alphabet and that some of the letters are called consonants? This is why we have some of these letters in red, because these are the vowels. So you now need to teach your child that these letters, A, E, I, O, U, are vowels. And the letters that are not A, E, I, O, U are called consonants. Have them separate out the vowels from the consonants. Separate the vowels from the consonant. That's another game for them to play. But we have to teach them what's the difference with the consonants and the vowels. The vowels actually make two sounds. Every letter makes a sound. However, vowels make long sound and short sound, like a as in apple or a as in ape. I, I for igloo. I for ice. So you're going to need to teach your children to recognize the actual sounds that the vowels make in words and be able to tell you if that sound is short or long. Remember, vowels make short sounds and long sounds. So here's how you're going to help your children with that. Let's turn to the mouth formation chart. Now, parents, for those of you who are using our series, we actually have this mouth formation chart in our books. Let's look at A. Help your child to understand the difference in the way the mouth is formed when they're making the short A sound compared to the long A sound. Short A sound, ah, ah, ah. Long A sound, A. Look at my mouth, A. Short A sound, ah. Look at the mouth. And have them use the mirror to check themselves. Ah. If you ask your child to make a long A sound, let the child look at the picture. Let the child use the mirror to do self-check. Okay. Next thing I need you to ask your child is, in the word ape, what sound does A make? They should tell you long A sound. Have the child sound it. Ape. So they know that is not a short sound. So you do that for the A, E, I, O, U. It's very, very important, parents, that your children learn the short and long sounds for these vowels. The next thing I need you to teach your children is to pay close attention to two consonants. And I'm going to tell you why they really should pay attention to these. They've got to pay attention to these because these are the only two consonants, the only two consonants that make two sounds. Everybody over here make one sound. The vowels make short and long sound, but the C and the G, they make hard and soft sounds. Hard and soft sounds. Let's go over to the mouth formation chart. Let's look at the word cold. Cold. The C in the word cold, is it a hard C? Look at the way the mouth is. Look at my mouth. I didn't do this. So that with the hard C sound, this is the way the mouth is formed and is k versus the soft C sound. Look at the way the mouth is formed. The sound coming between the teeth. Same thing, let's go down to G. Hard G sound. Look at the way the mouth is formed. G, as in the word gum. As in the word gum. So the way you ask the question is, you ask the child, listen to the G sound in the word gum. Is that a hard G sound or a soft G sound? Same thing with C. Listen to the C sound in the word cold. Is that C a hard C sound or a soft C sound. If your child makes a mistake, tell your child to go back and look at the way the mouth is formed. Is this the way your mouth was formed when you said cold? So have your child really use the mouth formation chart to help with sounding the hard C and the hard G sound. They can see the difference here. Teach them to use this on their own and give them that mirror so they could check themselves. If you don't have this mirror, but you have a mirror right next to your mouth formation chart, have them use that mirror. If there's a problem, take the chart to the restroom. If there's a mirror in your bathroom, have them use that. Some place where they could check the mouth formation. Now, we're moving on to actually creating words. Remember, parents, letter identification, knowing the difference between uppercase and lowercase, knowing the difference between vowels and consonants, being able to identify letters, those are all phonics. But the sound, phonemic awareness, phonemic awareness. If the teacher says that the child is having different difficulties with letter sounds, they're saying phonemic awareness is where the problem is. So, okay, so we're going to move on now to actually creating the first word. So, here we go. V for vowel, C for consonant. So the first word that the child is going to make will be a VC word. When you start out with VC words, you start out with a short vowel sound. So the short vowel sound for A, and I'm using a lowercase, the short vowel sound for A is ah, ah, ah. And then I'm going to put a consonant here. I'm going to put a G here. Then I ask the child to make the short A sound and the hard G sound. And to blend them. Blend, blend. So, ag, ag. See that? Let's take a lowercase e. Have your child sound the short E sound. Short E sound. Then you get a lowercase consonant placed right next to that vowel. How about we remove the E and place the lowercase I and ask your child to sound the short I sound. Short I sound and blend it with the N sound. Remember, the N sound is all on the mouth formation chart, right? How about, let's remove the I. Let's put that O. Ask your child to sound the short O sound and blend it with the N sound. See? Okay. We can even remove that. See? Now you're having your child, have your child remove the consonants, have your child remove and place another one. So, vowel consonant words are the first words that they will learn. And later on, you're going to find out about word families. Now, here's the thing. Now, you move it now to CVC words. Consonant, vowel consonant word. So we have ag. So we could look for an uppercase because now we want to teach them that the word, when you're writing a word, you usually start with an uppercase letter. So you would uppercase R right there. Then you ask the child to sound the R. Make the R sound. They already know what the ag is. So now, rag, rag. See? So parents, you start out with the VC words and then have your child add beginning sounds, beginning sounds, beginning sounds. Because now, how about here? Uppercase J, jot, ot, because they already know the VC sound, ot, and now jot. You can also remove this and you could actually use an uppercase G. Now it is got, got. But you have to tell them, remember, with C and G, you have to tell them how important it is to recognize whether that G is a hard G sound or a soft G sound. Let us look for that C because we talked about the C. Let us put the C right here. Cut, cut. Is the C in the word cut a hard C or a soft C? Is the G in the word got a hard G or a soft G? So parents, look at all the things we did today. Letter identification, matching uppercase and lowercase, creating vowel consonant words, sounding short and long vowel sounds, having your children to recognize the difference between vowel sounds and consonant sounds, and the fact that vowels have two sounds. We also went over adding beginning sounds. Once you add that beginning letter, what is the beginning sound? That's a very important skill for your child to learn because when they get to a word they do not know, if they know how to sound the first letter, if they know how to sound parts of the word, if they know how to sound the first letter in a word, if they know how to sound parts of the word and blend them all together, they are decoding. You've got to teach your children decoding skills. It starts with helping them build the word and break the word apart. Build the word, pull it apart. So I want you to do this at home. And then what I'm going to do now is with all the things that we've done in this segment, I'm going to show those who are using the series exactly where they can find all this practice material in the books that they're actually using. So thank you once again. Just stay tuned. Parents, we've come to the end of this episode, Kindergarten Readiness. I'm hoping that we really gave you the strategies you need. You can play this over and over, depending on what you need. We talked a lot about sight words and how important it is that your children are able to actually recognize sight words. We talked also about letter identification. We have all of that in these books. Reading Foundation Parent Guide. Here's what I really want you to pay attention to. In the Reading Foundation Parent Guide, we actually have the letters talking with each other. The uppercase talking to the lowercase. But in their conversation, they're teaching about the characteristic of an A. For example, the uppercase A here is saying, my name is uppercase A, just like the A in apple. I am the first letter in the alphabet. See what it teaches? I'm the first letter in the alphabet family, and I am a vowel. So just the uppercase A talking to the lowercase a actually is providing information. I'm the first letter in the alphabet, and I'm a vowel. Now let's hear what the lowercase a is saying in response. I am a lowercase a. Everybody thinks I am round and cute. So actually it's drawing attention to the shape. Whereas the uppercase A is shaped that way, the lowercase a is saying I am rounder. See? So I really want you to use these to actually have your children understand letters in the alphabet. And then, of course, we go on to, we have the turnkey guidebook. If your child is struggling with reading, if the teacher says that the child is struggling, you need to find out, as I said before, whether it's fluency, vocabulary, phonics, phonemic awareness, or comprehension. And the turnkey guide actually guides you as to where to find the lesson you need to tutor your child and correct that deficit. So the turnkey guide is important. But one of my favorite ones, blending and segmenting. Everything we talked about here today is right here in the blending and segmenting. Right here in the blending and segmenting. Now, complementary resources. Complementary resources is chock full of activities. For example, here's one activity. This is what you use to check to see if your child knows the sight words. Apart from flashing the cards, you can either check it has the dates and the words. Give a check mark if the child recognizes the word. If the child doesn't, you know which one you need to work on. Also, we have cutouts, just like David did on the word wall. David actually cut out these letters and created a name train. That is one of the many things that we give children to do in this book. Here we also have it where you have uppercase and lowercase letters missing, and children are able to match because they must play that letter matching game. That helps them with letter identification. So we have so many activities here for you. For parents who are actually using the series, I'm hoping that by doing this for you, it lends more support to what you're already doing. And remember, parents, if you're not able to pay for tutoring for your child, we'll teach you how. So I'll see you in our next episode when we'll talk about comprehension.
Come join us in the Parent Cafe classroom and learn how to be your child's tutor.